commitment to respect and honor the long and vibrant history of Indigenous people. We hope this recognition will also inspire the members we represent to do the same, so that we can show what is possible as we partner together to work in the spirit of reconciliation. At this time, we'd also like to take a moment to express our immense gratitude for the opportunity to gather here together as neighbors, members, advocates, and champions of rural Saskatchewan. We hope that in addition to seeking your own answers, you will compassionately listen to others, learn from them, inspire one another to imagine what is possible when we all come together to amplify the voice of our great province. I would now like to cue you to remove your headwear. Please stand. I would like to welcome to the stage this morning Christy Ann Blondeau to deliver our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command, car ton bras sait porter l'épée, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you. Before you sit down, I need to cue you to stand back up. Whatever, a little exercise this morning. I would like you to take a peek at the screens beside. We are going to have a short moment of silence as we remember those who once stood and served in this room. Thank you. You can now be seated. Except these guys on the stage, they're going to be going up and down. Throughout the next 2 days, I would like to introduce you to our board members that you'll get a chance to shake hands with as we mingle around and get to our educational breakout sessions. So I'm going to introduce our board, and as I do, please stand and give a wave. President Bill Huber, RM of Tullymet, number 216, and RM of Lipton, number 217. Vice President Darren Steinley, RM of Excelsior, number 166. Division 1 Director Bob Moulding, RM of Abernathy, number 186. Division 2 Director Cody Jordison, RM of Lumsden, number 189. Division 3 Director Sean Kramer, RM of Maple Creek, number 111. Division 4 Director Myron Kopek, RM of Buchanan, number 304. Division 5 Director Blair Cummins, RM of Blucher Park, number 343. Division 6 Director Randy Aumack, RM of Meeting Lake, number 466. Ex Officio Director Sheila Kiesig, RM of Tullymet, number 216. And our Executive Director, Laurel Felton. Thank you. All right, let's get to our voting devices. So we'll need these today twice, and so this morning we're gonna hopefully work out any glitches as in right now. So pull out those voting devices. Each RM is allowed 2 voting delegates. You should have these devices when you walked in this morning from the registration table. The voting devices, as I mentioned, will be used to vote on resolutions this afternoon. Do not lose them. Please keep those safe throughout the day. Our charge will be applied to any devices that are not returned. At this moment, I'd like to send it over to Liam. He represents DOTS, and he'll lead our voting device testing. So if everyone can be ready, he's going to take it away.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Liam, and I'm excited to get voting with you guys. So I've got a test question on the screen here. We're gonna go through a few, but when I start the timer, you're gonna be able to press 1 on your device and 2 for opposed. If you're having any trouble, I've got my colleague Nick just in the center there. He's giving a wave now, so just find him or raise your hand and he'll come over and help you out. So I'm gonna start this timer, and everyone please cast your vote.
Pause. We're going to start over. Liam, re-cue it. I'll read the question. This is how it'll be for resolution. So I'll read the question to you, then you'll hear that fancy music, and then that's when you vote. So do you want to pop the question on the screen for me? I'll read it out loud, then I'll say, vote now. And then you can try out your voting device. So he'll put it on the screen. I need a minute here. All right, would public works training at annual convention be of interest to your municipality? In favor or opposed? You may vote now. All right. 77% in favor, 22% opposed. Did anyone's device not work? Did we do this? This might be the first time in my life. You know what? If it didn't work, just put your hand down because this is amazing. Okay, they worked. Let's try one more question just to be sure, Liam. I don't even know if I can see that. I need stronger glasses. If SARM were to offer public works training at annual convention, which of the listed topics would be the most relevant? Select all that apply. It's a long list. You can read that yourself and vote now. Oh, I don't think they can do this. They can only do one color, right?
Oh, apologies. Sorry. For this one, you are able to select, so it's just the corresponding number. You can select as many as you need.
Perfect. Okay, great. Let's try that out. You can vote now. Oh, wow, look at that. So fast. Okay, I'm not reading those. And I'm happy the voting devices work. Is everyone feeling comfortable with that? Don't put your hands up. Great. Okay, we're going to move on. Thank you, Liam. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Okay, I'm going to take you through a series of announcements, and while I'm talking on the screens, there will be slides for you to follow along, and if you have any questions, you can catch me on and off the stage. All right, let's begin. Emergency exits. You'll be able to find those located at the back corners where you came in and also the back behind the stage. Name badges. You must wear those at all times when you're at the venue. Security will be monitoring and checking those. Your personal items. We're here for 2 days. Do not leave your personal items in the convention hall overnight. It will be cleaned and personal items may not be there when you return tomorrow. Lunch. If you purchased lunch on site when you registered, you would have received this morning when you came in the door a sticker on your name badge when you checked in. For those of you with stickers, lunch will be served right back here in the foyer from 12 to 1 p.m. If you did not buy your lunch on site, go somewhere else and eat really quickly and come back. Convention app. Check out the newly refreshed web-based SARM convention app. You can also download it online, or you can go to your mobile internet browsers, visit app.sarm.ca to access really helpful resources that will make your experience here at convention even smoother. Thank you to Cal Tire for sponsoring the SARM Challenge. Speaking of the SARM Challenge, that is going to be happening again this year, a little bit different. If you visit the SARM Challenge menu on the convention app, there's a list of challenges that can be done during convention. The first 3 people, first 3 people to complete it correctly will win. I'll announce the winners at the end of the convention. SARM social media. We're talking about technology. Please follow us at SARM_voice on Twitter, at SARM.ca on Blue Sky, SARM Voice on Facebook, or at SARM-voice on LinkedIn for the day-to-day happenings and for pictures that have to do with the association. During the convention, we'll also be live posting. If you happen to be live posting or sharing pictures or videos, please tag hashtag SARM Midterm 2025. A big thank you to SaskPower once again for sponsoring our convention social media feed. Speaking of sponsors, you'll notice on the slides, on the screens during our breakout sessions, or really any time that you're in this room, those are our sponsor slides. We really appreciate them. Also on your convention guide and along with the app, you'll find all of our generous sponsors who have supported us. Stars 50/50, the lovely staff of Stars was right there when you came in the main doors. They'll once again be selling 50/50 tickets with all the proceeds going towards Stars Air Ambulance. Tickets are 1 for $5 or 4 for $10, and you can purchase them today and tomorrow till about noon, so get them sooner than later. Your ticket must be in the room. It's an elimination draw to find someone who usually wins over $1,000. So you have to be in the room tomorrow, Thursday afternoon at around 1:45 p.m. to win the 50/50 draw. Okay, thank you. That was our very long list of announcements that I would like to get through. All right, I would like to now call upon Laurel, right? Yes, Laurel first. Laurel's going to go first. Pardon? Ladies first. I would like to call upon our Executive Director, Laurel Felton. Laurel was born and raised in Moose Jaw, not far from here. She has been with SARM since April 2004, where she had the privilege to direct SARM's policy, programs, and communications departments throughout her tenure. Laurel takes great pride in continuing education and has completed certificates in professional leadership and management from the University of Regina, advanced leadership through Intersect Consulting, the executive certificate in local government from Dalhousie University, and most recently, the effective executive leadership program at the University of Saskatchewan. Laurel is a very proud mom of 2 teenage children, Jillian and Jordan, and became SARM's executive director in December 2024. Please welcome Laurel.
Thanks. Wow, you guys, it's almost been a year for me. I can't believe I'm standing up here and talking to you all. This is wonderful for me. So, hello everyone, and thank you so much for being here today. I'm Laurel Felton, as Rusty said. I'm the executive director at SARM, and very much so it's a true pleasure to join you once again here. So many of us would have met at the June division meetings this year, where I spoke about something near and dear to my heart, which is SARM's member benefits. And that's exactly what I want to revisit with you today here. It's really quite simply the foundation of what makes SARM so valuable to you, our members. So SARM really does exist for one reason in my mind, and that's to serve rural Saskatchewan and to strengthen every RM that we represent. We are deeply proud of the trust you've placed in us to connect you with the programs, services, and experts that help you lead, plan, and thrive. Let's start with one of our cornerstone services, community planning. So did you know that well over 95% of our members have planning bylaws in effect? Most RMs can't support a full-time planner. So that's why SARM employs a registered professional community planner available to you actually free of charge. So take note of that. They're there to guide, advise, and support on all matters of planning and land use. Whether it's preparing development permits, reviewing subdivision applications, drafting zoning bylaws, or planning intensive livestock operations, our planner's expertise ensures that your RM has the resources that it needs. And when a question falls outside of our scope, we'll help connect you with someone who can deliver the right solution. So let's look beyond planning. SARM members have access to a very dedicated legal services team at SARM, lawyers who provide guidance, draft agreements, and represent RMs when needed. This service has become so essential that we brought another lawyer on board this year to expand our capacity just for our members. Your member benefits extend even further. Through our member purchasing program, you save time and money on goods and services. Municipal bridge services connect you with professional engineers for bridge and culvert projects. And our human resources program that was successfully piloted in Divisions 2 and 5 this past year. I'm excited to announce that it's going to launch province-wide in 2026. Craig Williams will be sharing more details on that later on in this convention. And of course, one of our most powerful member services is advocacy. For more than 120 years, SARM has been the unified voice of rural Saskatchewan. Every day, we stand up for your priorities. So that's including roads, your farms, your communities, at every table with provincial and federal partners. Championing rural interests isn't something we do on the side. It's at the heart of who we are at SARM. And as Bill will tell you soon, this has been one of the busiest advocacy years at SARM yet. Our work doesn't stop there, though. We've continued to enhance our insurance and employee benefits programming, from health and dental coverage to disability and property insurance, tailored for RM needs. This year, we introduced a brand new tax-free vision benefit and are partnering with Cleveland Health to launch virtual healthcare. This innovative program includes telemetry devices that remotely monitor vital signs, giving RM employees convenient, high-quality care wherever they are. We've also fine-tuned and grown several of SARM's existing programs. So the Rural Integrated Roads for Growth program now aligns applications better with RM budgeting cycles. The Municipal Leadership Development Program completed a major review that led to exciting updates that you'll hear about very soon. And we are excited to premiere Seeds for elected officials. It's an engaging 8-module online course offering very quick, like I'm talking 10 minutes quick, practical tips to help counselors lead more effectively. Events and learning opportunities continue to be a pillar of SARM's membership. We have webinars and trade shows at our June division meetings, and of course our midterm and annual conventions. These gatherings are where we learn, connect, and grow together as one rural community. Membership also ensures that you are never left searching for information. Through our newsletters, such as the Rural Dart and the Rural Sheaf, you have the SARM website, our Rural Counselor magazine, and we keep you updated on policies, funding programs, and best practices. Before I close, I want to share one final reflection, and that is that SARM is and always has been and will continue to be a member-driven organization. That's not just a phrase. It's the spirit behind every program, every call, and every decision we make. Your needs are at the very heart of everything we do at SARM, every day, every month, and every year. So serving you isn't only our responsibility, it's our privilege. So from all of us at SARM, thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in the work we do together. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurel. It's time to hear remarks from our president, Bill Huber. Bill's 3 passions in life are people, farming, and rural Saskatchewan. As a proud third-generation farmer, he'll tell you that the land, lifestyle, and work ethic are part of his DNA. Bill and his wife, Jan, have farmed in Lipton District since 1972. Bill was first elected to council of the RM of Lipton, number 217, way back in 2011, and in 2016 joined the SARM board. 4 years later, Bill was elected vice president of SARM and served in that role until 2025 when he was elected as president. Please welcome Bill.
Thank you very much, Rusty. Good morning, everyone, friends. It's sure good to be here with all of you again. I'm Bill Huber, president of SARM. And before I get started, let me just say there's no greater privilege than standing here among the people who keep Saskatchewan running. Folks who work the land, fix the roads, raise families, and build communities from the ground up. If you remember back to our annual convention in March, tariffs were just starting to explode, and we were all feeling uncertain about what the future would hold. And now, 8 months later, tariffs are still a part of the news almost every day. I've been looking forward to getting back here with all of you. It's always a comfort in uncertain times to share knowledge and information with everyone here. Today, I want to talk to you about something that sits right at the core of what SARM stands for, and that's advocacy. Not just advocacy in name, but in action. Speaking up when no one else will. Standing our ground for what's right for rural Saskatchewan. And again this year, we took that message straight to Ottawa. We went there to push for federal policies that actually understand and help rural Saskatchewan. Policies that are built with a rural lens, because our realities out here don't always fit reality into the federal criteria written for big cities and towns. We told them what every farmer and reeve already knows, that red tape doesn't build roads, and it doesn't fix bureaucracy, and it doesn't fix bridges. We need flexibility, local decision-making, and trust that rural people know how to make rural things work. We talked about trade and export, rural infrastructure, agriculture, energy, healthcare, rural safety, and treaty land entitlement. And when we were done talking, we started asking for fair, practical action that makes life better in every RM represented here today. Let's start with trade and export. We told them what you all know too well. Our export markets have been under strain. Tariffs have hit producers hard. When our inputs go up and our returns go down, that's a squeeze no farmer can afford for long. So we asked Ottawa to end the tariff battles, to build or rebuild stable trade relationships and protect the markets that keep our economy strong. We asked them to remember that when Saskatchewan producers get fair access to trade, Canada wins too. And we reminded them of something fundamental. Good trade policies don't just sit in boardrooms. It starts in many farmyards. We also pushed for investment in the infrastructure that keeps those exports moving. Railways, roads, ports, and the people who keep them running. Those are the arteries of the prairie economy. When they buckle, so does our food security and our reputation as a dependable supplier to the world. That's why we called for real federal investment, recognizing rural infrastructure as essential, expanding interswitching on rail lines and treating ports and postal services as the lifelines that they are to producers. Now let's talk rural infrastructure more broadly, something close to every RM heart. We shared the numbers with Ottawa. 72% of our bridges need replacement. Of our bridges need replacement within the next decade. That's nearly 3 out of every 4, and 24% of those bridges already are restricted. We manage over 164,000 kilometers of road and more than 1,200 bridges. That's not just infrastructure that's connection. That's how our kids get to school, goods get to market, and communities stay alive. We asked the federal government to boost funding, streamline approvals, and align programs with rural budgeting cycles. In plain terms, less waiting and more doing. We also advocated for projects that secure water supply and irrigation, because water is the lifeblood of agriculture. You may remember years ago when Ralph Goodale was a member of Parliament, a Liberal, announced funding of $4.1 billion to the Lake Diefenbeke project. This project alone could add 30,000 jobs and $5.9 billion to the GDP. We took the opportunity while we were in Ottawa to remind the federal government that this project was supported by them in the past and should be supported by them in the future. It's time for them to step up and help fund the project to completion. And as for broadband, well, in this day and age, internet isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Yet only 59% of rural Saskatchewan has service to national standard speeds. That's not acceptable, and we told them so. We called for matched investments and fair funding formulas that count SaskTel's contributions, so Saskatchewan gets its share. Next, I'd like to talk about food security and agriculture, our bread and butter. We said this plain and clear in Ottawa. Rural Saskatchewan feeds the world, but we need the tools to keep doing it. That means stronger risk management programs, support for new technology, and investment in research that will carry our farms into the next generation. We also asked for the reinstatement of strychnine to manage Richardson's ground squirrels, which, as every farmer here knows, aren't just a nuisance, they're a plague on our crops. And we have good news on that front. Before we even arrived back home from Ottawa, the federal government verbally, now get it, it's verbally, committed to reviewing the use of strychnine in emergency situations with the support of the provincial government and municipal governments. So watch for further developments on this issue in the coming months. And let's not forget the people behind the work, our labor force. Skilled workers, veterinarians, young farmers are harder than ever to find. Recruitment is tough, succession isn't guaranteed, and immigration rules are a maze. So we called for educational programs, expanded job grants, and immigration reforms that make sense. We need to attract and train the next generation, because without them, there won't be anyone left to carry the torch. On energy and resources, we told them bluntly, rural Saskatchewan can't thrive without smart development and the right infrastructure. And that means building integrated energy corridors, streamlining pipeline approvals, and removing overregulation that holds back progress. We must make every energy, excuse me, we must make energy affordable while protecting the environment and respecting local governments. If we can link our roads, rail utilities, and broadband into one strong network, then we can build a future that works for everyone, from farmers to First Nations to industry partners. Now let's talk about something that hits close to home, rural crime and public safety. The numbers don't lie. Saskatchewan's crime severity is almost double the national average. And our rural communities bear the brunt of it. Too often we're left out of policing decisions, even as we're paying part of the bill. That has to change. We called for more funding for RCMP recruitment in rural areas, RM involvement in contract negotiations, real bail reform to keep repeat offenders off our roads and out of our communities, and stronger efforts against illegal firearms, not legal ones, used by responsibly rural people. So this year and in previous years, SARM has advocated for provincial authority over firearms. We believe these decisions are best made by the provincial government with the interests of residents at the forefront. We remain hopeful that this approach will soon become a reality. And side by side with safety comes rural health care. When someone's having a heart attack an hour from the nearest hospital, every minute matters. But we're short of paramedics, we're short of ambulance crews and doctors. Even telehealth is limited by poor broadband. We pushed for investments in rural health care, infrastructure, better training programs, and support for responders, mental health, and well-being. Because caring for others, that's how we build stronger, safer rural communities. Finally, treaty land entitlement. We told Ottawa that rural municipalities have honored their part of the agreements in good faith, but the RM tax loss compensation fund is running dry. The municipalities are losing revenue, but still maintaining the roads, infrastructure, and services. That's not sustainable. So we asked for immediate replenishment of the fund, a fair review of its investment strategy, and an update to the formula so compensation keeps pace with the real cost of services today. Before I close, let me tell you something I've learned after many years on this earth, and most of them spent with dirt under my fingernails. You can't build anything meaningful alone, whether you're farming, running a business, or leading a municipality. Collaboration is the only way forward. When we pool our knowledge, our resources, and our voices, we can move mountains, or at least grade a few more roads. That's why I'm proud to say, on behalf of every RM and every person in this room, SARM is and always will be the voice for rural Saskatchewan. Thank you for letting me serve you. Thank you for standing together. And thank you for never letting rural Saskatchewan be forgotten. Thank you, folks. I hope you enjoy the rest of the convention, and thanks again for being here.
Thank you, Bill. All right, we're going to make our way now to our breakout sessions. You'll see on the screens there are 4 to choose from on each day. Once again, you're going to choose 2 out of 4 sessions for today. So you're going to see those times outlined in the agenda and on the screens on the stage here. Breakout sessions will run like this: 9:45 to 10:45, then a quick 15-minute break for you to transition to your next room, then again from 11 a.m. until 12. You'll also then, right at 12, come right back on here to enjoy your lunch. Lunch will be short and sweet. We'll begin right at 1 p.m. just so we can keep things on time for the afternoon. So there's enough time now to grab a quick coffee on your way to your first breakout session. Again, that begins at 9:45 this morning. You can see those on the screen. So pick 2 of 4 to attend this morning. Thank you and enjoy. We'll see you back here shortly. nonprofit sectors to SARM's efforts in municipal education, transportation, infrastructure, and agriculture programming. Please give Dustin a warm welcome.
Clicker to work. Ah, there we go. I get to share with you a little bit about SARM's SEEDS program. So if you were at our June division meeting, or if you've been following our publications, you would have heard me talk about SEEDS. I talk about it a lot. SEEDS, if you haven't heard yet, or maybe if you just want a refresher, it's SARM's training program for elected officials. It's online. And so it's the kind of thing that you can study at your own pace, at your own place. What it is 8 modules. These are really short modules, about 10 minutes each. And what they do is they provide tips on municipal governance. So they're intended to be really introductory, they're intended to be quick, and they're intended to be very practical. So as soon as you do a module, you'll be able to apply those things to your council right away. So since launching this program, we've already got 500 registrations, which is pretty good. There's about, what, 2,500 counselors and administrators? So we've got a long ways to go to get everybody on board in this. We've got a long ways there. But we have been getting feedback that things are strong. One of the things that I've found that people are doing is that they're doing these things together as a council, right? So at the beginning of their council meeting, they'll work through a module together. So each counselor is on their own device, they're working through it, and they're able to talk about really important topics like HR, or like conflict of interest, or other sorts of things like that that are introductory material and really at the core of what it means to do this work as an elected official. But as I mentioned, you've heard me on this a lot, and so I thought rather than hearing from me more, it would be great for you to hear from some folks who've actually gone through the program, actual elected officials. So joining me on stage here today is Reeve Al Trainer, Councillor Nicole Posen, and Councillor Tim Brote. None of these are strangers to you, I'm sure, but it's been really gracious of them to join us here. The Arm of Edenwold was one of the first RMs to have gone through the training. And so I thought I would do a little dialogue with them to hear about what they thought of the SEEDS program. So before we get too far down, I wanted to see if maybe each of you could share with me a little bit about just how long you've been involved in local government. Maybe Al, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Dustin. I was on council for 2 terms back in the 90s, and because of work I had to leave, and then I've been back now for 2 years on council and in my 2nd year as Reeve of the RM of Edenwold.
Thanks, Al. Nicole.
So I've been on council for 2 years, but my 2nd term I was elected on a by-election. So yeah, it's been great.
Wonderful. And Tim.
I'm coming up on 12 years that I've been councillor for the RM. I'm up for re-election next year, and we'll see what goes.
So we've got a nice variety of folks and the length of time that they've served on council. Our first question, so the Arm of Edenwold was among the first councils to complete the SEEDS for Elected Officials program. I'm just curious, why did you complete them?
The reason that we decided to do it, like a lot of other councils, there's growing pains and we're having problems and in our council and everything, and we're hoping to find more tools to maybe eliminate some of the problems that we were having.
Great, thanks. So I'm curious as well, did you end up completing them individually or did you go through them as a council together?
I can take that question. So we started out doing the trainings as a council during council meetings, and then we transitioned to just doing them independently, which worked just as good. So.
Thank you. So question number 3, how hard were the SEEDS modules to work through, and how long did it take you?
I can take that question again. The SEEDS modules were very easy to work through. They only took about 10 minutes. They were valuable, and I also really encourage RMs to add them to their onboarding for new counselors and for elected officials that have already been in their positions for a while, to take them as a refresher for sure.
Thanks. So question 4. What was one takeaway from the training that you got out of the SEEDS modules?
Well, basically some of the takeaways was follow your code of ethics. Make sure that they're up to date, and same with your bylaws. Update them as you need them, and make sure you've got them all clear so that it stops any problems from happening.
Wonderful. So, question number 5. Is that you, Tim? Yeah, it looks like it. How do you think this training will benefit the work of your council?
Where I was looking at, I think it would be very beneficial for new counselors to take it. Some of us old guys, it doesn't sink in as much, but it is very good refresher course for a lot of stuff. But your new counselors that don't really understand the process, that's the big thing, that you got to know all the different areas of it, as far as the role that your ombudsman plays and all that stuff comes into play, and it's very important to know what you're doing when you get on council.
And you would also say that folks who've been on council a bit should also take them, right, Tim? Yeah.
Correct.
Good.
Correct.
Yeah. This wasn't planned, if you couldn't tell. All right. 6th question, and go easy on me here, Al. Are there any ways SARM could improve SEEDS modules for the future?
As has been said before, the modules were for experienced counselors and Reeves. I found a bit introductory, which I think is what it was, and that's why we've said that it would be great for new counselors or new Reeves to take the program as part of the onboarding with it. I think the way that it could be improved would be, there was some really good topics on there, would be picking 1 or 2 topics for the next set of modules and going deeper into the topics, a little more specific on it. But we found it very, very helpful. And as Nicole said, we started out doing them at the end of our council meetings, but everybody was tired after 6 hours of listening to me talk. And so we finished them on our own.
Great. Well, I love the idea of expanding our modules at some point as more folks try them, and if more folks go through the original 8. Definitely love the idea of expanding to more detailed modules in the future. And our last question for you, and I think Al, you're taking this one as well. If SARM were to develop more online training modules through our learning management system, what topics would you like to see?
Well, I think it would depend on whether you were gearing it for newer counselors and Reeves. Would be things like the Municipalities Act, and as Tim had said, going through your conflict of interest, which was one of the modules on it, and your governing principles of what you're there for in the first place.
Wonderful. Well, those are good ideas. Let's take a minute, thank the Arm of Edenwold, and for Al, Nicole, and Tim for joining me on stage today. So you heard it here, folks. Give the SEEDS modules a try. All you need to do is register on the SARM website and work through the modules a few minutes at a time. As we heard, it can be really good to go at the beginning or the end of a council agenda as well. You'll learn some information about some critical governance issues. The second thing I want to talk to you about today, this is a brand new deal. In fact, it's not even entirely available yet. We've only just signed the agreement last week, so you're hearing this here first. SARM signed this agreement with a company called Headversity to provide access to our members to take 2 of their on-demand online courses. So the first of these courses you would have heard of before. You've heard of Respect in the Workplace training. Nod your head yes, it's after lunch. You've heard of these. These used to be about 2 hours in length, perhaps longer. The company that used to run Respect in the Workplace has been overseen now by Headversity, and they've completely rebuilt that course. Now, rather than 2 hours, it's only 40 minutes. So in 40 minutes, you can get some training for your RM, both staff, administrators, and elected, on things like harassment or bullying or abuse, major issues that can affect the workplace. So 40 minutes, and then at the end of the 40 minutes, maybe a month later or a few weeks later, you'll get an email with a little refresher of 10 minutes, and that'll come every few months. So it's a way to kind of reinforce the learning. It's not just sit down, do it once for 40 minutes and you're done. You do the 40 minutes and then you get the follow-up training afterwards. So it helps you to remember and helps you to take in the learning. So that's the first course that's available to you. The second course is called Mental Health Foundations. This course is also only 40 minutes in length, and like the previous one, has those 10-minute follow-ups as well. Mental Health Foundations is going to introduce your staff, your elected, and even your public works staff and your admins into concepts of things like resilience, or how to manage conflict, or how to deal with stress in the workplace. So really basic but fundamental topics for mental well-being. This program as well is also offered through Headversity, and it's going to be good for, I think, the whole of your RM. There's a really good deal we've got. So the old Respect in the Workplace program was $20 a person. So now with the revised program, you can do Respect in the Workplace for $15. So it's one of the few things in our world that's actually gone down in price in the last few years. So for $15, you can do Respect in the Workplace. If you decide to do the second course, it's only $7.50. So for $22.50, each member of your RM, of your staff, your elected, your administrator, can all have some training that's going to contribute to their healthy workplace. It's a pretty good deal, I think. And it's really short training. It's quite accessible. A few of us in the SARM office have gone through it, and we felt that the quality was really strong. So watch for SARM's publications. This information will be coming to you shortly. The last thing I want to talk to you today about is our Municipal Leadership Development Program. If you would have been listening to Laurel's message earlier today, you would have heard some clues that there's some changes on the horizon. MLDP is a program that was a partnership between 6 different municipal entities, SARM, SUMA, and both the Urban and Rural Administrators Association, as well as the Ministry of Government Relations. It's been around for over 2 decades. And ever since the beginning of the program, SARM has served as the administrator of it. It has served elected officials and administrators really well in the past. There's been some strong learning offered through that program, and it's formed many of the strong leaders that we have today. In the last few years, though, our registrations have been dropping pretty significantly. In fact, just last week, pardon me, it was actually just Monday, we had to cancel 2 more modules, right, just due to lack of registrations to make them viable. So this program has begun to show signs of struggle. And so last year, we worked with our partners and we conducted a full review of the program, hired a third-party consultant to review the program thoroughly, and of course the results came back that, yeah, this program has served members really well, but it needs to change. It needs some significant reworking. About the same time as we were doing the review for the program, we also conducted needs assessments. That is to say, we reached out to you and asked you about how you felt about training needs that were going on in the rural municipality sector. You told us there that you really want training, but you want training on topics that are particularly relevant to the rural environment, and you want training delivered in a way that's going to suit you best. And so based on all of that feedback, SARM made the decision to exit the MLDP partnership. So we're going to continue to administer that program for this year, this program year, which will take us to June 2026. And at the same time, as we're working on exiting that program and offboarding it, we're working hard on developing a new program that is specific to the needs of our members, one that we're going to hopefully continue to get lots of input in as we develop. And so to facilitate some of that input, we've formed a project team to build this new program. It's got 2 members of the SARM board, so Sean Kramer and Bob Moulding. Thank you both for joining me on that project, and also from RMAA and their executive, Joanne Loy and Trent Sim. And so working with these folks and the SARM staff, we're hoping to craft a brand new program that we can launch in fall of 2026. So these are some big things, some really significant news. And in order to kind of use this time well, I'd actually really like to hear from you. So I'd like to, with our AV support, transition over to a little survey, and you've still got your clickers, right? So you should be able to participate in this survey. I'd like to do a little pop quiz for you. I spent a few years in education, and so I default to pop quizzes when I don't know what else to say. So, if you've got your clickers handy, those of you who are able to vote, maybe we'll go to the first question. There we go. So first question, which of the following, and these are topics, would your RM like to learn more about? And this is one of those that you can select all that apply. You can select all that apply. The first one, how to manage conflict. Would you like to learn more about that? If you do, click 1. How to collaborate with other municipalities. If you'd like to learn more about that one, click 2. Number 3, how to plan for and manage your infrastructure. Do you want to know how to manage your bridge and road inventory? How about best practices for council meetings? That's 4. Number 5, roles and responsibilities for council and administrators. This is one that seems like a perennial topic for us. And number 6, how can municipalities purchase goods and services effectively? This is the topic of procurement. And lastly, maybe this is a personal one, how to grow and handle the pressures of being a leader. Would you like to learn more about that? That's number 7. So, I'll invite you to enter your answer. No wrong answers here. All right, well, okay, well, I've got some feedback. This is wonderful. So fair bit of responses there, and conflict management does seem to be one that folks are interested in, as well as some of the other things we discussed. So I'll take that back. Another question for you, very similar. This one is also about topics. So which of these would you be interested in learning more about? You can select all that apply here also. How to handle a conflict of interest or code of ethics issue. That's number 1. Number 2, how to hire, onboard, and compensate staff. So this is a little bit related to human resources. And number 3, how to manage employee performance and terminate employment. Not that we'd ever have to do that. That's number 3. Number 4, how to create a strategic plan. Would you like to learn more about that? How to create a financial plan. Number 5. Or how to engage or oversee regional and land use planning. Number 6. And number 7, how to engage with your community and difficult ratepayers, which I'm sure you do not have. So we'll give you a moment or two to answer those questions. Again, fill out all that apply. Okay. So contrary to my original thoughts, some folks have difficult ratepayers they need to deal with. All right. Well, thank you. I've got 3 other questions. They're going to be quicker. Next question. How would your RM most like to take the training? Number 1, would you like to do it live online? That is to say, would you like to do it like a webinar or an online meeting so you don't have to travel? Or would you like to meet in person? And this is select one or the other. Great. Oh boy. You guys are not making my job easy here. So we're going to both do online and in person. That's great. Great. Good. Okay. Next question, also quick. Would your RM be willing to travel to attend training seminars in person? Would you be willing to travel to attend training seminars in person? Again, yes or no? Okay. All right, last question, folks. Would your RM be willing to come to midterm or annual convention a day early to take training? Would you be willing to come to midterm or annual convention a day early to take training? And I'm watching, so we're going to sign you up if you say yes. Okay. Hey, that's looking pretty good. Looks like I'm going to be here a day early next year. So, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for your feedback and participation in this little exercise. We do take it really seriously. The last thing we want to do is build something that you don't like. So on that note as well, if you'd love to reach out to me and chat with me about training needs, I'm available. My contact information's on the SARM website, or you can just grab me while we're here at convention. Also, of course, have a conversation with the board members that are on the project team, Sean and Bob and Trent and Joanne. They would all love to talk to you as well, I'm sure. So thank you so much, and I look forward to telling you more about training in the future.
Yeah, that was really great. Thank you, Dustin. I am happy to welcome from SARM, Shelby Peel, Transportation Infrastructure Program Administrator. As the Transportation Infrastructure Program Administrator, Shelby is responsible for the administrative and technical aspects of the Clearing the Path and road construction programs. Please welcome Shelby.
All right. Just gonna get my clicker working. Which good. Oh, I'm way too far. Oh, there we go. Okay. Good afternoon. So my name is Shelby Peel, and I'm the Transportation Infrastructure Program Administrator at SARM. So my job is to administer the Rural Integrated Roads for Growth, or RIRG program, along with the rest of the program administration team. So today I'm just going to give a brief introduction to the program for those who are maybe unfamiliar with what RIRG does, and then I'm going to get into some of the recent program updates that we're really excited about. Nope. There we go. I'll figure it out by the end. All right, so the RIRG program is funded by the Ministry of Highways. It's administered by SARM, and it's governed by a program management board that is made up of voting representatives from both the Ministry of Highways and SARM. and it exists to support rural infrastructure upgrades and development in our province. Municipalities can apply to access funding through 3 distinct sub-programs within RIRG. So we've got the road construction program, the bridge and large diameter culvert construction program, and the clearing the path, or CTP program. And each of these programs is tailored to address specific infrastructure needs. So first I'll talk a little bit about the clearing the path program. So the CTP program provides incremental maintenance funding to assist with the cost of maintaining roads to carry primary weights. The purpose of the program is to connect and move Saskatchewan's commodities and industry at primary weights, creating a seamless network throughout the province. So to be eligible for the program, the road must meet criteria such as a minimum truck traffic count, proximity to economic generators, and the proximity of the roadway to other primary weight roads. So if your RM applies for an eligible corridor and agrees to maintain that road to carry primary weights, you can receive funding each year to assist with those maintenance costs. And actually, after hearing from SARM members and studying the impact of inflation on maintaining these roads, the ministry has recently increased the funding for clearing the path corridors by $300 per kilometer. So RMs can now receive $1,300 per kilometer for a standard corridor and $1,500 per kilometer for a premium clearing the path corridor. And you can find out a little bit more about what that means on our website in our policy manual. And your RM can apply for a new clearing the path corridor at any time. We always have the intakes open for that on SARM's website. And then we review those applications at the beginning of each calendar year. And then communicate the approvals at the beginning of each program year, which is April 1st. All right, and then we have the road and bridge construction programs. So the road construction program, along with the bridge and large diameter culvert construction program, are both ways that RMs can access funding to upgrade and repair their current infrastructure. So these programs not only improve safety and efficiency for rural residents, but they also support local industries by facilitating the movement of agricultural and industrial products. So when a road project qualifies and is accepted into the road construction program, the RM can receive up to $500,000 for eligible costs, and that's with a 50% assistance rate from SARM. As far as project types, you can choose from several different project types, including earthwork and grading, clay cap, base and subbase, and surface strengthening, and that's on any road that has a class of 3, 4, or 5, or if it's a designated clearing the path corridor. Those are also eligible, and that's just kind of what we're accepting right now based on our application volume. The bridge construction program is very similar, except that there's been a recent increase in its funding cap. So again, after hearing feedback from members on the significant increases to the cost of building rural bridges, the funding cap for bridge projects has actually doubled. So RMs can receive up to $1 million with a 50% assistance rate from SARM. All right, so that's just a little bit about each of the programs that we offer with RIRG. And now I'm going to take a bit of time to talk about some of the recent changes to the road construction program specifically. So as you may have heard, we've had some recent updates to our road design requirements. So why update our design requirements? The Ministry of Highways periodically reviews their programs and services to determine if they remain relevant or require some revision. And something that municipalities have been expressing concern about, both through feedback to our program and actually through a resolution made at a previous SARM convention, has been the standard right-of-way width of 42 meters. That's been a part of the road construction design requirements for several years now. And as a result of the program review, we spent a lot of time working with the ministry to revise the policy to allow for some more flexibility in the minimum purchase right-of-way required, as well as updating some other design requirements along with that. So this is a huge win for SARM. We're really excited. Your feedback and initiative has made some change, and we're really excited to see how this can improve our program and maybe allow some more RMs to be eligible for our program. So yeah, the key requirement updates, as I said, the big one is the 42-meter right-of-way. So allowing that right-of-way to be less than 42 meters where the terrain still allows the design to meet all other geometric requirements will balance safety with real-world limitations that we know municipalities encounter. So this means there'll be slightly more variation in right-of-way width on these roads, just depending on the terrain and whether or not the other design requirements will still be able to be met within that smaller purchased right-of-way. The requirement changes also differentiate high-volume roads from low-volume roads for the purpose of setting the minimum road width. And this update brings the policy more in alignment with other standards used on the municipal system, as well as taking into account those existing widths of most higher volume roads. So, and the full policy manual is available on our website. I'd encourage you to take a look at that. It's, we've done a lot of changes to the policy, as well as just added some more nuance. So I'd encourage you to take a look at that full policy. So yeah, another thing we've recently kind of done is the RERG program has moved to a standardized application intake and project announcement cycle that's intended to align with RM budgeting and planning cycles, as well as the cycles of the provincial government. So the intake for road, bridge, and large diameter culvert projects opened on September 1st, and it will remain open until November 15th, and this is kind of the way we're going to do that each year. And we also intend to announce those projects for these applications in January, so early in the year. Yeah, we're hoping that that will give you all lots of time to plan for procurement and begin construction as early as possible in the spring or summer. And yeah, RMs will still have 2 years to complete those projects, so 2 construction seasons to complete those. Yeah, the design requirement changes will come into effect for applications and projects approvals occurring after September 1st. So yeah, there's still a bit of time to apply if you haven't done so yet. We have till November 15th, so definitely take a look at that. All right. One last thing. So as you've maybe noticed, we really value and benefit from feedback from RMs. We're always looking for ways to make the program work better for RMs, and your feedback has allowed us to make some really important changes. So I would love to continue hearing from you. Let us know what's working for you. Let us know what's maybe not working for you. Yeah, we really want to know how it's working for RMs. So you can submit that feedback. We have a specific email address for that. It's feedback@rirg.ca. Would really appreciate that. And if you have any questions about the program, feel free to find me later, send me an email, and I'd be happy to chat. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Shelby. Let's continue the conversation this afternoon with our peer group discussions. This is a really good opportunity for you to hear from your neighboring RMs, ask questions, and engage in relevant conversation that's applicable to you and your members. So you'll see on the screen that there are 4 topics that you can choose from, and the rooms coordinate with the topics. So once you get to the room, a SARM board member will guide each group through a discussion about best practices, opportunities, learning experiences. You have 4 sessions to choose from each day. Sessions will run from 1:45 to 2:45 p.m., so just choose one. I want to remind you that we are going to come right back here for a nice quick start to get to our afternoon resolutions following your peer group, just enough time to grab a cup of coffee and come back here. Also a note for the media in attendance, our peer group discussions are closed to media. You are welcome to join us back here in the main hall, media, for our resolutions. All right, thank you. Enjoy your peer group discussion, and we'll see you back here shortly.
Thanks, Rusty. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the presentations today and are ready for resolutions. I just thought maybe we'd do a quick round of applause for lunch. I hope you guys all got a chance to enjoy it, so thank you, lunch. Delicious. Okay, so let's run through some instructions for this resolution session that we're about to embark on here. Rusty Dean is going to be our resolutions chair, so I'll turn it over to her in a minute. But I wanted to say a quick thank you for Perlinger Group Benefits Limited for sponsoring our resolution timer for the session today. So, each resolution will be read and shown on the screens. The mover will then be provided 3 minutes to speak to the resolution, and there will be a timer on the screens, so please be aware, as a speaker, how much time you have remaining. Rusty will do her best to give a 30-second warning so speakers know when their time is ending. So once the mover has spoken, the floor is then open for debate. And I want to make a special note that it's important that when you come up to speak at a microphone, Rusty will be asking you to give both your name and RM number so we can keep track of who's speaking to which motions. So in order to speak to a motion, you must be a member of council or administrator with permission of council to speak for or against a motion. You will have 2 minutes to speak. There will be a timer on the screen once again, so please once again be aware of how much time you have. Once all debate has concluded, the resolution chair, Rusty, will give the call for the vote. Next, I would just like to say a special note. You're going to hear some music today. So resolutions, music has been a thing that we kind of did at SARM for a while, and then it kind of went away for a while. Well, I'm happy to say that both Kaylee and Deanna on our policy team have curated the music for our resolution session today, so I'm excited for you all to hopefully enjoy the music as we go around the 26 resolutions. So I'm now going to turn it over to Liam with data on the spot to provide instructions on voting on resolutions. Liam? Oh.
Sorry. Hello? Perfect. Okay. Everyone who is a voting member should have their clicker here. When the vote is called, there will be a 30-second timer on screen, and you will be able to vote 1/A in favor and 2/B for opposed. That will be on screen while we vote, in case you forget that. Once that 30 seconds is up, though, the motion is closed and the results will be displayed. If you are having any trouble, I have my colleague Nick in the middle there. Give him a wave, Nick. And he's happy to help you. Just raise your hand or come and find him, and he will help get you sorted out to make sure you can vote. Yeah, ready to go. Thank you, everybody.
So at this time, I just want to take a moment to recognize the 2025 Resolutions Committee at SARM, and we have representation from each of SARM's 6 divisions on that committee. Arm of Hazelwood, number 94. I don't know if James is waving to us over that way. For Division 2, we have Joselle Robertstad, arm of Chaplain, number 164. I haven't run into Giselle yet here, but maybe she's here. Then we have for Division 3, Grace Potter, arm of Gull Lake, number 139. For Division 4, we have Harvey Milanowicz, arm of Sliding Hills, number 273. Then we have Division 5, Wendy Trask, arm of Corman Park, number 344. And Division 6, Leslie Clark, arm of Parkdale, number 498. So thanks to our resolution committee reps. Now I'd like to turn it over back to Rusty for to chair this resolution session.
Thank you, Laurel. I am pleased to serve once again as the chairperson for this year's resolution session. As always, our first order of business will be a motion to appoint a parliamentarian for this resolution session. I'd like to put the graphic on screen. Be it resolved, Danielle Shindelka and Adrian Toth of the SARM Legal Department act as parliamentarians for the resolution. We need someone to motion that. Okay, 189, we have that. All right, on stage, I am pleased to introduce Danielle Shindelka and Adrian Toth from the SARM Legal Department. Of course, we just approved all of that. No one's debating. No one has any further discussion. That resolution is carried. Welcome. All right, I want to remind you that I won't be reading the next 25 resolutions. You'll have to listen and read along on the screen. So please play our first resolution.
Resolution 125M, Healthcare Scholarship Fund, RM of Carmichael, number 109. RM of Webb, number 138. RM of Gull Lake, number 139. Submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM implement a scholarship program open to all rural grade 12 Saskatchewan students entering any healthcare-related field.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. If you're coming to the mic, I want to remind you to state your name, RM, and position on council. Mic 2. Oh, hold on, just one sec. It'll come, just give it a minute.
Okay.
There you are.
Betty Kramer, Reeve, the RM of 139. I'm moving this motion.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for this or against this resolution. Mike 3.
Bruce Gibson, RM of Webb. I'm asking for an amendment on behalf of the RM of Carmichael, the RM of Webb, and the RM of Gull Lake. Where it is worded grade 12, rural grade 12 student, or grade 12, we open it up to everybody. Doesn't necessarily have to be a grade 12. We want that changed to any student that is progressing in the medical field. It could be an older person, anybody that's upgrading or anything like that. And there is another ask for it to be added is a scholarship to each division. So 6 scholarships. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It could be 2 amendments, so let's just start with ask 1. So Betty, yeah, I'm glad you didn't sit down. If you would like to accept or deny that?
Yes, I accept.
Can you just give us 1 minute? We're going to have to put it on the screen, and then we will have to see if it passes, then we'll go to the next one. Okay. All right, we have it on the screen, as you can see, and I will read it. Be it resolved that SARM implement a scholarship program open to any rural student in the 6 SARM divisions, progressing into the medical field, entering any healthcare-related field of study. That's fine, correct?
But we want it to be rural from
That captures what you were saying is basically what I'm asking you.
from our rural people. I will agree with it.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to open to debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against this updated resolution.
I have, I'm from the RM of 157, the Reeve. We would like to put in there that they remain in Saskatchewan for 5 years if they receive the scholarship.
Okay, we have to first vote on this amendment, as in yes or no, and then we can add in. We have to debate this one first. As in we have to vote. We have to get to the voting process. Okay, Mike 2. That's you, sorry.
That's me. Ray Donald, RM of Martin, number 122. My question is, would this student have to be educated in Saskatchewan, or could they be qualified if they went to like Alberta or Manitoba? And the reason I ask is because my granddaughter applied for the ag diploma from SARM, and she was disqualified because the course she was taking was in Vermilion, not Saskatchewan.
Okay.
So I just wanted to clarify where this is going.
Okay, Betty, since you were the original mover of this, you need to come speak to that question.
I guess pertaining
She
to
has to
that,
speak to
there are some courses in the medical field that aren't in Saskatchewan. They do have to go out of the province to take some of their training. So I don't think that should be a requirement for that.
All right. Now, is there anyone that is going to speak to or for this amendment? One more, Mike 2.
Yes, Don Taylor, the Reeve of the Arm of Saltcoats. Just a point of clarification on the scholarships. Was that meant to be one person out of each division, or just that all 6 divisions can apply for it?
Yeah, we have not, that's our second amendment. We're going to get to that after we get through this one. Okay. We're going to vote now on this screen that's coming up right now. Resolution 125, if you can pop that up. In favor or opposed? I think I need to read it again. If you can just, sorry, there's no automated, so I'm gonna have to read that one more time. Really making you work, the AV department. Be it resolved, oh no, the one with red text, sorry, that's not. There it is, thank you. Be it resolved that SARM implement a scholarship program open to any rural student in the 6 SARM divisions progressing into the medical field, entering any healthcare related field of study. So now we are going to vote in favor or opposed to this. Right now. All right, this was passed in favor with 80.66% in favor. This is amended. Now we're going to have, you're standing right there, if you want to pop on back to mic 3, if you want to turn that on. I'm sure you were the person that wanted to add in per division. Or who is that? I need to find that person. Sorry, mic 3, back it up. Next.
Bruce Gibson, the RM of Webb, 138. The other amendment was 1 scholarship per division, as in 6 scholarships total.
Betty Ann, you got to walk back there. Accept or reject this?
I accept.
All right, we need 1 minute to update this. All right, I'm going to read this question out. Be it resolved that SARM implement a scholarship program open to any rural student to 1 recipient in each of the 6 SARM divisions progressing into the medical field, entering any healthcare related field of study. Now I'm going to open up the mics to debate on this amendment. So I'm going to start with mic 2.
Morris Karkachuk, RM of 277. What is your definition of rural? I think in order to get this resolution session moving, we should table this motion until it gets fixed up to a point where we can understand what's happening. Because what is rural? Does that mean my son who lives in the farm? What about the guys who live in Foam Lake or in Estevan? Is that rural? So until we are clear as to what we're doing here, we're going to pass this thing, I know that, but let's fix this thing up. So motion to table.
I have to go to Betty Ann, right? I'm going to give our legal department just 1 minute before we continue. If you can just pop back up to the mic, we just need to clarify if it's a motion to withdraw or a motion to postpone. It's 2 different avenues. So the gentleman that was just up, if you can come back up to mic 2. Some more walking, sorry. Maybe just stay here a little longer in case we come back to you. So motion to withdraw or motion to postpone?
I'm going to make it very clear. Motion to table. That means we vote on it. If it gets tabled, it's over till next meeting.
Okay. We're going to use that as motion to postpone. All right, now I'm going to immediately call if we are going to a vote to postpone or not, in favor or opposed of postponing. So are we able to type that really quickly onto the screen? We're just going to put it up, okay? Motion, right here, you can see motion to postpone. 1 in favor, 2 opposed. Here's your 30 seconds. That was passed in favor, 77%. All right, wasn't that a wild ride for round 1 for me? Okay, let's play the next resolution.
Resolution 225M. Tax loss compensation due to treaty land entitlements shortfalls. RM of Corman Park number 344, submitting RM. RM of Canwood number 494, submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby both the provincial and federal governments to conduct a comprehensive review of the tax loss compensation formulas within the Saskatchewan TLE Framework Agreement to establish an indexed, inflation-adjusted mechanism to ensure that rural municipalities receive ongoing compensation for all current and future losses in property tax revenue resulting from the addition of TLE selections to reserve lands, while also considering increasing road maintenance and infrastructure expenses. Be it further resolved that SARM lobby both the provincial and federal governments to establish a dedicated funding mechanism or cost-sharing model to adequately assist rural municipalities with the development-related expenses of treaty land entitlements. Such support would ensure that municipalities can continue to work collaboratively with First Nations while maintaining fiscal responsibility and sustainability.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. Again, please have your name and number, your RM number stated. All right, Mike 4.
Cody Lockhart, RM 494 Canwood. I move to adopt. And to provide a little context there, despite the lengthy preamble, if you're not familiar with the TLE Framework Agreement, I envy you. For a bit of context, RRM currently has 20,000 acres that are moving into reserve status, and we will lose the tax on that land in perpetuity going forward. And to date, there's been 1 million acres just under involved with TLE additions to reserve, but there's still 1.5 million acres approximately outstanding. So just because you haven't dealt with TLE to date doesn't mean that your RM won't face these challenges in the future. And it's quite a myriad, like a complex task to navigate that agreement, which is, since '93, it's been recognized that it was outdated, and it's been attempted to be addressed here at SARM on 13 different resolutions, and we just want to keep it at the forefront of the provincial and the federal government and SARM, so we'd appreciate your support.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against this resolution. Mike 2.
Everett Gray, RM of Emerald, Reeve. I'd like to speak for it. I think it should be looked at very seriously because I sat on this floor when the TLE agreement was negotiated, and it seems like the other side of the party can get a revisitation to all their agreements. Why shouldn't we get a revisitation to it?
Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. This was in favor, 98%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 325M, change to development levy legislation. RM of Corman Park number 344, submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the provincial government to amend the Planning and Development Act 2007 to allow municipalities to include capital infrastructure charges, such as fire halls, in development levies to provide a readily available funding mechanism to rural communities so revenue is available for the responsible construction and implementation of vital emergency services infrastructure.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. We'll start with mic 4.
Thank you. Stephen Balzer with the RM of Cormorant Park, Councillor, and I wish to move this motion.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against this resolution. I see no further discussion. I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried at 91%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 425M, Multilateral Oil Well Program, Municipal Considerations, RM of Britannia number 502, submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the Saskatchewan Assessment Management Agency to work with the provincial government in developing policy for the equitable assessment of MLWs, taking into account both the above-ground resource production equipment and the associated underground infrastructure necessary for oil extraction.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. We'll go to mic 1.
Bryson Laganchuk, CEO for the RM Britannia. I have permission to speak on behalf of Council. We wish to move.
Debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against this resolution.
I'll just give a bit of a summary here.
Yes.
The RM Council was reviewing our taxable assessment shifts. As part of the SAMA's 2025 evaluation, commercial received an average of 25% increase, and agriculture received 40%. The RM Britannia is finding it difficult to reach the 7-1 ETR effective tax rate that is now legislative through the Municipalities Act. The RM Council is requesting a review of the assessment models for the oil industry to better reflect a reasonable assessment for oil sites, especially multilateral wells. Multilateral wells have created a large increase to individual oil well sites semi-traffic because of the number of legs that are associated with one site. We are seeing up to 8 bottom hole locations per top hole location, and the oil well, or the oil company is only being assessed for the equipment above ground. The council is requesting you vote in favor of this resolution.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried with 88%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 525M, Regional Solid Waste Facilities, RM of Karen, number 162, submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the province for legislative changes that make regional solid waste facilities the preferred option for replacing current landfills. Be it further resolved that such legislative changes include ensuring that regional solid waste facilities are run by boards that have equitable representation with appointed members from all participating or shareholder municipalities, so all ratepayers have a voice. Be it further resolved that the province also amend legislation or regulations to create a public consultation process that must be followed when shortlisting prospective sites and selecting a final site for the location of a new solid waste facility beyond a waste transfer station.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. We're going to go to mic 3.
Greg McEwen, Reeve of R. McCairn. We'd like this motion passed, please.
Would you like to speak to it? No. No. I open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against this resolution. I see someone coming to mic 4.
Ron Brumwell, RM of Moose Jaw. I'm in the Reeve. City of Moose Jaw is in the process of annexing 960 acres of land off the RM for a proposed landfill site. It's in an area that, in their own studies, is not ideal for a landfill, but they're pushing ahead. We turned them down on a discretionary permit, or discretionary application a year ago, and now they want to take 960 acres. We proposed a regional approach, and they just want to push ahead and put in a landfill. In prime land, it makes no sense. Would you ask for your support? Thanks.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried with 85%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 625M, Big Game Draw Application Period. RM of Churchbridge number 211, submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the provincial government and the Ministry of Environment to move the opening of the Saskatchewan Big Game Draw application period to between February and March.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. We'll go to Mike 2.
Gary Yankee, RM 211, Division 3, Counselor. I so move.
Would you like to speak to it?
I can. I've been raising wildlife for about 45 years now, and I've just started putting in for draws in the last 10 years, I guess. And it's always during seeding time, like May 1st. If you read the first part of the resolution, it explains it better, but a lot of people don't, which it's always during seeding time. And this year, I got to a Super A, which is one of the top classes, and you get drawn, and I didn't get drawn. So anyway, this year, between spreading and fertilize and everything else during seeding time, I missed the draw. I'm thinking, why do they have it during seeding time? Like, I don't go to Mexico or whatever I got lots of time in March and February and winter to put in a draw. Why don't they have a draw in there? And I thought I'd bring it to the floor just to see what the rest of the farmers and the people that raise the wildlife would like to do.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against this resolution. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried at 65%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 725M, Alternative Energy Projects Cleanup Fund. RM of Coalfields number 4, RM of Estevan number 5, RM of Cambria number 6, RM of Lake Alma number 8, RM of Valmarie number 17, RM of Browning number 34, submitting RM, RM of Benson number 35, RM of Simri number 36, RM of Lomond number 37, RM of White Valley number 49, RM of Antler number 61, RM of Brock number 64, RM of Griffin number 66, RM of Wood River number 74, RM of Arlington number 79, RM of Golden West number 95, RM of Baildon number 131, RM of Swift Current number 137, RM of Willowdale number 153, RM of Excelsior number 166, RM of Lorburn number 254, RM of Rudy number 284, RM of Winslow number 319, RM of Viscount number 341, RM of I Hill number 382, RM of Round Valley number 410, RM of St. Louis number 431, RM of North Battleford number 437, RM of Turtle River number 469, RM of Moose Range number 486, RM of Beaver River, number 622. Be it resolved that SARM lobby both the provincial and federal governments to mandate that alternative energy projects allocate funds for end-of-life decommissioning in a similar format to the oil and gas industry. Be it further resolved that SARM lobby both the provincial and federal governments to establish an orphan fund for the alternative energy industry to clean up abandoned alternative energy infrastructure.
I welcome a mover. Let's go to Mike 3.
Pius Lostel, RM of Browning. I move this motion.
Would you like to speak to it?
Yes. The resolution is pretty self-explanatory, but there's a growing movement for building and increasing capacity for alternative energy in Saskatchewan and across Canada. Alternative energy spans a wide variety of energy sources, from renewables such as wind and solar to the other end of the spectrum with nuclear energy. However, all infrastructure has a lifespan, and there needs to be a plan to retire any infrastructure at the end of its useful life. Our concern is once the infrastructure reaches the end of its useful life, it'll be abandoned and become a burden on landowners and municipalities. We've seen this issue arise before in the oil and gas sectors. Oil and gas companies would drill wells, set up infrastructure, extract the oil and gas, with everyone benefited from their presence. However, when the economy took a downturn and revenue dried up, companies didn't plan for retiring their assets, and the infrastructure would be left behind and abandoned. The province has taken steps to mitigate this and established an orphan infrastructure fund for the oil and gas companies, and are taxed according to the liability of their infrastructure that remains. Not only that, but oil and gas companies are now required to budget for asset retirement obligations and allocate liability on their balance sheets to complete this task. We'd like to see the action from our provincial and federal governments to mandate all alternative energy projects to allocate funds to the retirement and decommissioning of infrastructure at the end of its useful life. We'd also like to see the provincial and federal governments establish an orphan fund for the alternative energy sectors to ensure that no abandoned infrastructure is left behind for landowners and municipalities to figure out.
I now open the floor to debate for or against this resolution. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried with 97%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 825M, Accelerating Nuclear Energy Development for Rural Saskatchewan. RM of Excelsior, number 166, submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby both the federal and provincial governments to work with Sask Power to expedite the development and deployment of small and/or large modular reactors by reducing regulatory barriers, ensuring adequate funding, and modernizing transmission infrastructure to meet future energy needs. Be it further resolved that SARM lobby both the federal and provincial governments to support Sask Power to export nuclear-generated electricity, advancing Saskatchewan's contributions to reliable, sustainable prosperity.
I welcome a representative to move this. We're going to Mike 1.
Darren Steinley, RM 166, Excelsior. I'm a counselor.
Would you like to speak to it?
I would. So I just would like you all to know I got off the phone with one Homer Simpson, and he has volunteered to come and run our nuclear power plant. So I think that's exciting news. But in all seriousness, you guys, baseload power is crucial to the economy of Saskatchewan in the future. And nuclear power is a safe, affordable, effective power that is utilized around the world. Coal and natural gas are great options, but nuclear adds to this baseload power. It opens us up for new businesses such as data centers and other things. So ensuring we have sustainable baseload power is power for Saskatchewan for the future. This will bring more business to Saskatchewan, and these businesses, along with the nuclear plants, will bring more resources to Saskatchewan. We can use these resources to pay for all the great things we want in rural Saskatchewan, healthcare, education, and all those great things. So I think this is important. We have the uranium in Saskatchewan. We have great companies that mine this stuff. We have great companies that build reactors. To me, it's a no-brainer. We move forward, expedite this, and get some nuclear power going in Saskatchewan. I urge you to support this motion.
I now open the floor to debate for anyone who wishes to speak for or against. All right, seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried with 93%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 925M, Vehicle License Plates, RM of Churchbridge, number 211, submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the provincial government to reinstate a two-plate vehicle license plate system for vehicle identification.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. I see someone coming up to mic 3. No, I don't. Fooled me. All right, we'll go to mic 2.
George Hawes, number 211.
Would you like to speak to it?
Yes, well, for the one thing, I don't have a cow in the place, but anyways, with high cattle prices and thieves really like it, we're making it very good for thieves that they can drive out in the pasture and a farmer meets them and on the trail he hasn't got a front license plate. And like, where's the saving? Just a little piece of metal? That's not much of a saving. I had people come up to my house. I live by myself on a farm. And they drive up to my house, they try the door is locked, and I can't all I can do is identify the vehicle, but there's no front license plate, and they back away from the house, so therefore I don't see that either. So I urge you all to support this motion.
I now open the floor to anyone who wishes to speak for or against. All right, mic 2 again. Go ahead, mic 2.
Hi, Justin Soa from SASMA number 336. I would like to speak for this as a motorcycle rider and paying extremely high amounts of insurance. With a camera on my motorcycle, I cannot take a picture of a rear license plate when they turn left in front of me. So for SGI in general, this will make a lot of money back for them, instead of just costing them exorbitant amounts of money in our insurance. Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to mic 4.
Gerald Muller, RM of Canada, I'm a councillor. I remember when this was changed, that tells a bit about how old I am, but I was kind of thrilled with it. I don't see that that's a necessity. Most of the thieving that's going on isn't necessarily happening in registered vehicles, and sometimes the plates themselves are stolen. It seems like we're using a sledgehammer to kill a fly. It's kind of nice not to have that front plate on there. It's just my opinion.
All right, mic 1.
Can you
Just
hear
a second. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Joe Huffnagel, RM 502. Lloydminster, so Onion Lake, if anybody knows where that area of the province is. Is there a cop in this room at all? Do we have a cop? We don't? Well, I play hockey with cops. There isn't one person that has a stolen vehicle that has the right license plate on the stolen vehicle. They change plates. So you're going to have a front license plate from this Civic from Saskatoon, and you're going to have a back license plate from a Ranger from Edmonton. So I'm speaking against this. Criminals are not carrying the proper registration.
All right, seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is opposed at 79%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 1025M, Abandoned Vehicles. RM of Birch Hills, number 460. RM of Duck Lake, number 463. Submitting RM. RM of Leask, number 464. Be it resolved that SARM Lobby SGI and the RCMP be compelled to supply to the RM the vehicle owner names and any contact information in order for the RM to contact the owner to have them remove the vehicle or have the owner sign ownership over to the RM so that the RM can have the vehicle hauled for scrap before the 30-day waiting period.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. Mike 1.
Hi, it's Gordon King from the RM of Duck Lake, and I move this motion.
Would you like to speak to it?
Yes, please. We're finding an increasing number of vehicles that get left on the roads, get left on the side slopes, and they create traffic hazards, maintenance hazards. And we think this is just a simple solution or an aid to a solution for this problem, and I encourage you to support it. Thank you.
I now open the floor to debate for anyone who wishes to speak for or against this resolution. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution was carried at 79%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 1125M, Rural Crime. RM of Churchbridge, number 211. Submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the provincial government to pass legislation to give people more rights to protect themselves and their property.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. Last call for a mover. Mike 2.
George Oz, number 211. I urge you to support this resolution. It's quite self-explanatory. Right now, it seems that the person trying to break into your house has a lot more rights than what you have. That's my opinion. And when you would think about the case up at Big River, no, not Big River, someplace up west there, where that farmer, he got, in my opinion, a very bad rap. I do believe that you should really support this, this motion. Thank you.
I now open the floor to debate for or against this resolution. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried at 89%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 1225M, Photo Identification at Scrapyards and Pawn Shops. RM of Mariposa, number 350. Submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the provincial government to require photo identification for all transactions happening at pawn shops and salvage yards.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. We'll go to Mike 4.
Jeremy Welter, Reeve, Mariposa.
Go ahead.
So this came out of a conversation with our local constable. He said that while he was practicing as a constable in Alberta, they had some pretty serious issues with scrap metal being stolen off of the power lines and being sent to scrap metal yards. He said Alberta instituted a program where everything being sold at scrap metal yards had to be from an identified seller. And he said it really cut down on, at the very least, the theft of power lines and cable lines in Alberta. And so his recommendation was that if Saskatchewan had a similar program, there would be a decrease in rural crime because what you've done is you've closed off the avenue for the sale of those products. So we're asking for your support.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against this resolution. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. This resolution is carried at 94%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 1325M, removal of radio licensing fees for volunteer fire departments. RM of Mervyn, number 499, submitting RM. RM of Frenchman Butte, number 501. RM of Britannia, number 502. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the provincial government to request that the province pursue the elimination or increased subsidization of radio licensing fees for volunteer emergency response organizations. Be it further resolved that SARM and the provincial government work collaboratively with the federal government through Innovation, Science, and Economic Development Canada to remove or amend the radio licensing fee requirement for volunteer emergency responders, recognizing the essential public safety services they provide.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. We'll go to Mike 3.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jerry Ritz, the Reeve of the RM of Mervyn, the sponsor of this, with some help from some local RMs. This just speaks to the fundraising ability of these volunteer networks. They're not for profit, and these licenses average $7,500 to $8,000 per year. And this is dollars that could be spent better on equipment that actually serves the need, not federal and provincial government's licensing. I ask you to support this.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against this resolution. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried with 96%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 1425M, provincial funding for municipal police officers. RM of Corman Park, number 344, submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the provincial government to act on an evidence-based approach to policing services to ensure rural municipalities are included and prioritized in this provincial funding on an ongoing basis to secure and maintain additional rural municipal police officers where they are needed most.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. Mike 4.
Thank you very much. I'm Joe Hargrave, Reeve of the RM of Corman Park, and I move this motion.
Would you like to speak to it?
Yes, I would. The provincial government granted a number of police officer positions or funding to the bigger cities of Saskatchewan, yet the small forces, we have 3 different police forces in our RM, and we get no funding for them. All we get is a little bit of the fine from that. And yet we're there and we help out the RCMP. We get calls all the time. All the RCMP are maybe staffed at 50%. And it's no problem if for them, and no problem for our guys to go assist them on a regular basis, but we don't get reimbursed for that. So we're looking for that. We think we should get provincial funding so that we can add 2 or 3 officers to our police force. We have a dozen now. We think we should have a few more.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against this motion. We're going to stay on mic 4.
Leonard Junip, RM of Vanscoy 345, the Reeve. We ask for support for this. We're in the neighboring RM to the RM of Corman Park. We also have our own private police force too, and like in the last 2-3 provincial governments, they've came out with an announcement of provincial funding for municipal police forces. It has all went to the larger urban cities, nothing for municipal forces, rural municipal forces. And like he was talking, like the RCMP, they're out there, yes, but they're drastically underfunded. we are helping, we go to calls with them all the time. But in the statistics, is what I want to bring up, we go to the call with the RCMP. The RCMP gets the credit for it. None of it comes to us. So whether we're on the job or not, but it's just, we get absolutely no funding for our own run police forces, like the cities, whatever they get it. I think it is only fair that the rural police forces get it too. It's not just the two of us. There's well, tongue-tied now, but there's like 3, 4 other ones too, and none of us, like I say, the provincial funding all goes to the bigger cities.
Is there any further discussion? We're going to move to Mike 2.
Wayne Bacon, RM 430. I just have a question on that. RM pays roughly $30,000 for police protection, even though we don't usually get any police protection. So the question I have, are the other RMs that want this motion, are they paying out of theirs and then also want funding, or how does that work?
Mike 4.
We still pay for the RCMP funding. We pay like $200,000 a year besides what it costs us to run our RM police force.
Okay, I need the gentleman behind you to speak to it because he was the mover.
Yes.
Sorry to
No
interrupt
problem.
you. Go ahead.
No, we still pay the RCMP as well. So we pay them, we help them, and but we need that additional funding.
All right, seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution was carried at 76%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 1525M, Emergency Services Funding with a focus on rural fire departments. RM of Corman Park, number 344, submitting RM. RM of Vanscoy, number 345. RM of Bain, number 371. RM of Reeford, number 379. RM of Hoodoo, number 401. RM of Fish Creek, number 402. RM of Invergordon, number 430. RM of St. Louis, number 431. RM of Birch Hills, number 460. RM of Prince Albert, number 461. RM of Torch River, number 488. RM of Buckland, number 491, submitting RM. RM of Shellbrook, number 493. RM of Paddockwood, number 520. District of Lakeland, number 521. Be it resolved that SARM lobby both the provincial and federal governments to establish sustainable funding programs and resource supports to help ensure rural fire departments can meet modern safety standards, acquire the equipment they need, and be prepared to respond effectively to wildfires and other emergencies in rural municipalities throughout Saskatchewan.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. We'll go to Mike 4.
Yes, John Germs, Division 1, Corman Park, and I so move.
Would you like to speak to it?
Not at this time. It's pretty self-explanatory, so I'll leave it at that.
All right, I'll open the floor. Mike 1.
Hi, Melinda Lavoie, counselor for the RM of Buckland, 491. I would like to speak to this. Saskatchewan has experienced unprecedented wildfire activity in 2025, with approximately 6.75 million acres burned across the province, causing significant impacts to northern communities, boreal forest lands, homes, and infrastructure. RMs rely heavily on volunteer and community-based fire departments to protect our residents, yet many of these departments are underfunded, under-equipped, and facing increasing costs for essential equipment, training, and compliance with new safety standards required by the province. Examples would be the lifespan of hoses, outer gear, jaws of life, breathing apparatus, all have a lifespan of around 10 years. I would respectfully ask for your support by voting yes to this resolution.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried at 94%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 1625M, Navigable Water, RM of Meota number 468, submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby Transport Canada to clarify whether vessel restrictions impact the determination of what is considered a navigable water under the Canadian Navigable Waters Act. Be it further resolved that contingent upon the foregoing, SARM advocate to the federal government for an amendment to the Canadian Navigable Waters Act to recognize vessel restrictions as a basis for determining navigability.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. We'll begin with Mike 2. Mike 2. How about now?
Kirk Morrison, CAO, RM of Meota. Move the motion with permission of council to speak.
Yes. Go ahead.
The RM of Meota replaced a bridge with culverts. This occurred over a creek that seasonally dries up, typically by July 1st. The RM is required by Transport Canada to upsize the culverts to facilitate jet boat traffic for one user on one weekend in May following a ratepayer complaint. The incremental cost to the RM was $36,000. So before the RM goes through a lengthy process to implement boat restrictions through the vessel regulations, we just want to ensure that that will actually impact NAV Canada's decision on whether or not the waterway is navigable. So we're looking for support of the members and support of SARM to get that determination in place.
I now open debate to the floor to anyone who wishes to speak for or against. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried at 92%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 1725M, Highway 31 to primary weight. RM of Kindersley number 290, RM of Winslow number 319, RM of Oakdale number 320, RM of Mariposa number 350, RM of Progress number 351, submitting RM of Grass Lake number 381. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the provincial government to designate Highway 31 as a primary weight highway, which would give producers a direct route to several primary weight highways. Be it further resolved that SARM lobby the provincial government to ensure all producers have access to a primary weight highway year-round.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. We'll begin with Mike 1.
Kim Herbst, Reeve of the RM of Progress. With the new programs come out to support primary roads, we are sort of like a landlocked to a primary highway. And it would be to get the highways involved in making these routes to move the commodities that drive our economy. So that's why we're presenting this. Hopefully this opens the doors for other RMs to do the same. Thank you.
I now open the floor to debate. Anyone who wishes to speak for or against? We'll move to Mike 4.
I'm just not certain, where is Highway 31?
I need our mover to speak to that. If you can come back? Sorry.
It's in west central Saskatchewan, the section. Hello, there we are, mic's on. It's in west central Saskatchewan. It runs through our RM, and it runs from Crawford to Macklin, and then it goes south and it runs through Dodsland Plenty to Rosetown. And it's sort of a section of highway that could be utilized for, how do you say it, for transportation of commodities at a primary weight level, because it has, put it this way, there's a little bit of disadvantage to living in the area when you have to haul secondaries down to southern Alberta with a load of feed grain, which is a low price commodity. And yeah.
We'll move to Mike 2.
Hall 308. I can appreciate the need for this, but I struggle with creating a primary highway out of a dirt road, because a lot of the highways are just too light to go primary, 9-month primary perhaps when it's frozen. But going primary would just destroy what you have there. And I mean, you have to talk to highways about this. You can't just put a magic tag on it and expect miracles.
Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is opposed, not carried, lost at 53%. All right, let's head to our next resolution.
Resolution 1825M, RIRG funding criteria. RM of Elfrost, number 307. RM of Hudson Bay, number 394. RM of Connaught, number 457, submitting RM. RM of Torch River, number 488. Be it resolved that numerous resolutions in the past 4 years have called for reform to the RIRG entire program funding eligibility. Be it further resolved that SARM lobby the Ministry of Highways to review the RIRG policy manual section on road construction program eligibility criteria, with the goal of making the requirements more inclusive, practical, and responsive to the infrastructure realities faced by rural Saskatchewan municipalities.
I welcome a mover to speak to this resolution. We'll move to Mike 2.
Lloyd Seymour, Reeve, RM of Connaught, number 457. Move to adopt the resolution.
Would you speak to it?
Yes, just real quick. The current RIRG ranking system for funding is outdated. Just one of the examples is the use of the traffic counts. The RMs aren't consulted as to the timing or placement of the traffic counts, and this can skew data that is important for funding. Example is that an RRM we saw traffic counts that were out in July when there's no hauling, very little hauling going on to any of the elevators in the area and everything else like that. Yet right now there's lots of hauling going on, lots of traffic on our roads. So this is skewed numbers.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried at 91%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 1925M, RIRG Bridge Design Flexibility. RM of Elfrost, number 307, RM of Hudson Bay, number 394, RM of Connaught, number 457, submitting RM of Torch River, number 488. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the Ministry of Highways to make changes to the RIRG program to allow for more engineered bridge design options to meet the needs of municipalities.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. Mike 2.
Lloyd Seymour, Arm of Connaught, number 457, move to adopt the resolution.
Speak to it.
This thinking that one design fits all is not working for bridges. There are cost-effective solutions implemented in other jurisdictions that are engineered and safe that would provide more economical options for RMs. Dollars are tight and RMs are stretched thin financially. Greater design flexibility would allow ratepayer dollars to go further. Having less dollars for capital replacements may mean more dollars for bridge or road maintenance, which extends the life of these structures, which means that over time, less dollars are needed to maintain all our infrastructure.
I now open debate for anyone who wishes to speak for or against. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried at 96%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 2025M, inclusion of capital bridge maintenance costs in the RIRG program. RM of Elfrost, number 307, RM of Hudson Bay, number 394, RM of Connaught, number 457, submitting RM of Torch River, number 488. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the Ministry of Highways to amend the RIRG program to include eligibility for high-value capital maintenance projects and to allow municipalities to submit applications for maintenance funding for individual bridges or a package of multiple bridges with the option of having the work completed by public works staff or by a contractor.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this motion. Mike 2.
Lloyd Seymour, Reeve, Arm of Connaught, number 457, move to adopt the resolution.
Yes, and speak to it.
Yes, the more maintenance that can be funded extends the lifespan of the bridges, roads. Maintenance has been proven time and time again to extend life of structures. By increasing the lifespan with repairs, the capital costs of replacements can be safely delayed, allowing municipalities time to budget or wait until funding is available. Currently, right now, in the current RIRG program, there is no option for funding for maintenance projects. It's either build new or not.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried at 94%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 2125M, elk management and producer protection measures. RM of Walken, number 93, submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the provincial government and other relevant provincial authorities to recognize elk population management as a critical regional issue and to implement more responsive solutions, including flexible and expedited fencing programs, full cost coverage for protective barriers, and the inclusion of producers in setting elk population targets and developing appropriate management strategies. Be it further resolved that SARM advocate for agricultural producers to have a formal consultation role in setting elk population targets, determining regional hunting seasons, and allocating tags in areas experiencing chronic elk population management issues through the issuance of critical management tags.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. We'll go to Mike 2.
Jill Lowe, RM of Walk-In number 93, and we so move this motion.
Would you speak to it?
It's pretty self-explanatory, just to note that we put this resolution in before the big game hunt come out.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against this resolution. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried at 88%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 2225M, Rural Water Pipeline Funding, RM of Duck Lake number 463, RM of Buckland number 491, submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby both the provincial and federal governments for dedicated funding to upgrade, expand, and modernize rural water pipeline systems.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. Mike 1.
Larry Eros, Reeve of RM and Buckland 491. I'm asking for support for this resolution. It's pretty well self-explanatory. A lot of the pipelines are 25 years old to 30 years old. Some of the joints are giving out, and some of our lines itself are going to have to be replaced. And I'm just appealing to maybe a little help from the government to help out. This is all for everybody that is a subscriber of any rural water. Thank you.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried at 78%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 2325M, Animal Damage to Grain Bags, RM of Emerald number 277, submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby both the federal and provincial governments to expand or amend the existing wildlife damage compensation program to include comprehensive coverage for animal-related damage to grain bags. Be it further resolved that SARM advocate the Ministry of Agriculture for improved support measures or cost-share programs to assist producers in the implementation of effective wildlife deterrents to protect grain stored in grain bags.
I welcome a mover to speak to this resolution. Mike 2.
Everett Gray, Reeve of the RM of Emerald. I move this motion. We have had several people in our RM with grain bags that they no sooner left the field, never mind the ravens, but the deer climbed right up on the top and tore them wide open right from one end to the other. My family has had cattle problems where the deer have destroyed the bales and they've gotten compensation for it. The people with the grain bags don't get compensation.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against this resolution. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried at 51%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 2425M, Compensation to Wildlife Damage to Pastures, RM of Mervyn number 499, RM of Frenchman Butte number 501, submitting RM. RM of Britannia number 502, RM of Loon Lake number 561. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the provincial government and Saskatchewan Crop Insurance Corporation to expand the wildlife damage compensation program to include compensation for all types of pastures, including native grassland, seeded forage, and hayland that is used for grazing, when verified wildlife damage occurs. Be it further resolved that SARM recommend that compensation be calculated on a per-animal basis, reflecting the cost a producer would incur to rent equivalent grazing pasture elsewhere, thereby ensuring payments are tied to the real economic impact of lost grazing capacity.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. Mike 4.
Yes, Tom Huffam, Reeve of the RM of Frenchman's Butte. I so move.
Would you speak to it?
Yes. Just a couple points. It's self-explanatory, but the cost per day of grazing has gone up quite a bit over the last 10 years, and I'm not sure if an individual producer should have to pay the cost or absorb the cost to keep the animals all summer, because they're the people's animals. We should all pay for the compensation. Thank you.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is opposed, lost at 55%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 2525M, Fair Compensation for Crop Damage from Wildlife. RM of Mervyn, number 499. RM of Frenchman Butte, number 501. Submitting RM. RM of Britannia, number 502. RM of Loon Lake, number 561. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the provincial government and Saskatchewan Crop Insurance Corporation to amend the wildlife damage compensation program to provide producers with the option of receiving crop replacement in kind, equivalent seed, grain, or feed, instead of monetary compensation when wildlife damage is verified. Be it further resolved that SARM recommend that this replacement option reflect the type and quantity of crop lost, ensuring that producers are restored with physical product equivalent to their verified loss.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. Mike 4.
Yeah, Doug Trotzik, Councillor, RM 501, Frenchman Butte. Move the motion.
Would you speak to it?
Yes. The RM of Frenchman Butte is submitting the resolution because producers in our municipality across the province have raised concerns that current wildlife damage compensation program does not fully meet their needs. While the program offers monetary compensation, the values are based on pre-established schedules that been outdated at the time of the actual loss. This creates a gap between the compensation provided and the true replacement cost at the market. Providing the option of a crop replacement would directly address the gap by ensuring the producer can receive physical product equivalent to their loss, whether they had grain, seed, or feed. This would reduce financial stress, eliminate exposure to fluctuating market prices, and give the producers greater confidence in that they can maintain production.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against. Mike 2.
John Rickman, RM Argyle. I'm the Reeve. I believe this program is a federally funded program. Provincial crop insurance only administrates it. So I think it'd have to be towards the federal government, not provincial.
Any further discussion? If you speak, this will close debate.
Okay, I'll wait.
Go ahead.
As far as we understand, it's Saskatchewan crop insurance with the federals do have an impact into it, but it's administered through Saskatchewan, so I believe that would be the starting point.
All right. I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is lost at 58%. Please play the next resolution.
Resolution 2625M, Population Control of Richardson's Ground Squirrel. RM of Blaine Lake, number 434, submitting RM. Be it resolved that SARM lobby the provincial and federal governments for better alternatives to strychnine or the reintroduction of strychnine until a more cost-effective alternative is found. Be it further resolved that SARM lobby the provincial government and the Ministry of Agriculture for provincial legislation to govern the control of the overpopulation of Richardson's ground squirrel and provincial measures to reduce the overpopulation.
I welcome a representative of the mover to speak to this resolution. Mike 2.
Alan Tanchak with administration, RM of Blaine Lake, with permission of council to speak. I would so move this resolution.
Would you speak to it?
It's self-explanatory.
I now open debate to anyone who wishes to speak for or against. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. Please vote now. That resolution is carried at 91%. Thank you for joining us for our resolutions this afternoon. I'll remind you to please return your clickers, your voting devices on the way out the door. Coffee is on tomorrow morning at 8:30. We're going to begin at 9 o'clock sharp. Enjoy the rest of your evening here in Regina. Thank you.